difficulties. Sorry about that. So you should be able to hear me now. So we got to cut all that out. So I'm going to start over because we got to cut that out anyway. So welcome to Future Money. We're going to give you real-time insights on tech stocks, crypto, emerging technologies before they dominate the headlines. We're going to start with Bitcoin spiking on the U.S.-China trade deal and also the cooling inflation. Right now, Bitcoin jumped on two big headlines. One was the U.S. trade deal and a lower than expected inflation report. This quick move shows how sensitive markets are to global plays happening all over the world, economic signals, but it's the start of something bigger that's happening in the world of cryptocurrency, right? We're moving in altcoin season. I strongly believe Bitcoin right now is right under 110. A U.S. trade deal was announced a few minutes ago. The U.S. imposed a 50% total tariff on China. The announcement came directly from President Trump and now awaiting a sign-off from both governments. It was a lot of people talking about this, a lot of excitement. Trump highlighted strong ties with China, support for the Chinese students in U.S. schools. A lot of that was in that agreement. Bitcoin reacted immediately, pumping from 109 to almost 110. It's not that much really, but it seems like a lot. That's what people don't understand is that we're dealing with percentages, right? Is that a lot of times XRP will go up 10% in a day, right? XRP is at 230 right now. If it goes up 10%, that's only 23 cents. And then I'll say, well, Ethereum, XRP's up 10%. Oh, that's nothing. Bitcoin's up 4,000. Well, Bitcoin being up 4,000 is only 3.5%. If XRP goes up 23 cents, it's 12, 13, it's 10%. I talk about this. We talked about this last session. I don't know how people got out of high school. I'm not saying it as a joke. I really don't understand how so many people got out of high school. I don't know, maybe they pushed them through, or maybe they just remembered everything and dumped it after the test. I don't know, because I don't understand how people got out of high school. So many people are idiots. I don't know how this happened. Like, I don't get it. Like, I had a 1.8, and I was always the worst in the class in grades. How did I come out knowing more? I don't get that. I didn't even do my homework. How did I come out knowing more than a person who did all their homework and got A's and B's? I don't get that. I don't get it. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I really, truly don't understand how that happened. And only word I can say, it vexes me. That's the only word I know to say it. An ancient word. It vexes me that people got out of high school and did not get all the information. But I got it all, and I was almost failing high school. How did it happen? I don't know. So Bitcoin, like I said, pumped to 110, start cooling. Traders are watching to see what happens in the long term, but it was a good sign for cryptocurrency in general. So somebody says, Jay Mitch says, a lot of people got pushed through. So you got pushed through to make the honor roll? Nah, man, some of these dudes is on the honor roll, and I know a dude, I'm not going to say no names, but he was on the honor roll, and this dude's an idiot. Like, I don't know. And he had honor roll certificates all on his wall. I don't know how he got that. I really don't get it. I didn't do well in high school, so I don't know the formula for doing well in high school. Now, I did extraordinarily well in college, top of the class. Professors still talk to me about how great of a student I was. But in high school, I wasn't that good. But I don't understand. I just don't get it. That's something that I need to go in school and watch and see how it works. I don't remember. But I think it was something to do with doing your homework. You do all your homework, you don't get A's and B's. I don't know. Somebody that did good in high school can tell me. But I don't get it. So the biggest news I want to talk about today is that something I've been predicting for a while is Ethereum is starting to do well and is going to push towards my prediction 2 years ago during this cycle was $8,000 to $12,000. Sounded crazy a while back, but now it's starting to seem more real. Ethereum may be following in Bitcoin's footsteps if history repeats. The move could be massive. Technical signals and timing are lined up exactly like Bitcoin's climb in 21. This may be the early warning before a breakout that a lot of people said would never happen. Ethereum right now is at 2,800. It's almost a 50% jump in the last 30 days. Ethereum's recent pattern looks a lot like Bitcoin's in 21. That's what I just said. But just like Bitcoin had to break that resistance, Ethereum has to break the 1 week MAC 50 resistance at 4,200. Now, first it has to clear 3,000. If we can get down past 3,000, we get to 4,200. There's nothing else stopping us from $8,000 to $10,000, $12,000. If Ethereum can get past those two levels, 50% rally is going to start right after that, and we're going to be at over $10,000. So somebody says, Armando, I want you to research about Islam, and you will end up being a Muslim. We'll see. Okay, so, all right. I read the Quran. I think everybody should read the Quran, Christian or not, because you realize how similar the religions really are. They all came from one person, that Abraham. Abraham had the myth, I guess, is that Abraham had two sons. One went down the Christian path, or the Judaism path, I should say, and one went down the Muslim path. And then from Judaism came Christianity from Christ. So it's really two parts of the same. We all come from the same religion, more or less, Judaism and Muslim, more or less. So now, Bitcoin in 2021 went from 4,000 to 69,000 in 1 year. People think that Ethereum could be going. Now, I'm not saying Ethereum's going to 69,000, but I am saying that we could see that a type of a move in Ethereum this year. Past 10 days, Bitcoin ETF saw a $1.5 billion worth of outflows, but Ethereum had half a billion dollars worth of inflow. That shows you whenever you look at where the big money's going, it's always a precursor to what's going to happen in the market next. We made a lot of money over the last 4 or 5 years by understanding how money flows through the market, understanding market cycles, understanding trends and patterns. We talk about that in the CNC. We just built our new website. It's going to be amazing when it starts. We got apps. Both of the apps are now available on iPhone and Android. Over the next week, 2 weeks, we're going to start rolling it out to the members. Then we're going to allow new people to come on. Now, this app is crazy good. We got hundreds of hours of classes in there. We have a community. We have forums. We have a day trading room. We still going to keep the Discord, but it's going to be called the Elite Traders Room. But everybody will have access to it that's in the CNC right now. And we also have classes on real estate, entrepreneurship, business, everything. We also do lives every week when I bring in people. It's going to be a crazy community. You still can get in at 97, so you'll be part of that upgrade when it happens. If you're not part of the upgrade, you're going to pay $300 a month for the Elite Trading Room. And you're also going to pay, and it's going to be $127 for the base. We're going to call it CNC Core. So make sure you sign up before that's too late. The link is in the description. We also got the event coming up. We're going to be in 3 cities over this month. We're in Pittsburgh on the 21st. We're going to be in Philadelphia on the 22nd and Atlanta on the 23rd. We're coming to the city. It's going to be more than just a meet and greet. It's going to be a strategy session. Mindset. If people that were in Atlanta, the people that came to the Los Angeles event 2-3 weeks ago, we dropped the play. That play's already up 30-40%. And then a lot of people, I put it on my pages, and they said, well, we didn't see that play. Yeah, that was reserved for the people that showed up to the event or that are in the group. Now, you guys know we've made a lot of money. You didn't even have to pay anything to listen to all these lives and everything we do on both YouTube and Instagram and also X.com. Imagine what's happening in the private community. It's a lot more money, a lot more connections, a lot more growth. These events always sell out. If you've been following me, watching the plays, learning from a distance, this is your chance to lock in. Seats are limited, energy will be high, and the ones who show up will be the ones who win. So, back to what I was saying, is Ethereum is outpacing Bitcoin this quarter. It's up 36% this quarter compared to Bitcoin's 27%. Now, I said it from the beginning of the year. I said I believe that Ethereum, XRP, and Solana at this point on would outpace Bitcoin. I still think that. I think that if you have dollar for dollar, if you had like $1,000, you're going to put it all in one crypto, you probably shouldn't choose Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin carries the lowest risk, but now the reward is extraordinarily low. Should have invested in Bitcoin when it was 30, 40,000. Now it's too late because of the way the market works, the way money flows from Bitcoin into the altcoins later on in the cycle, which is going to start happening there soon. And the altcoins are starting to go up at a higher rate. Now, Bitcoin is still a safe bet. It's still going to make some good money. It's still projected to be at $1 million in 5 years, and I still think that's going to happen. But you're better off now with those other coins because you have to it's because of where we are in the cycle. It's not because of which one's best, which one's worst. We got to get that thinking out of our head. It's about where we are in the cycle. And where we are right now is that those altcoins are going to do better, right? as we go into quarter three. So let's talk a little bit about XRP. It's been some price surge over the last few days. Not a lot, a few percent, but let me see where it's at now. Where is it? XRP? Yeah, XRP is at 231. It's up 3.5% for the last 7 days, which is not bad. But we're still in a holding pattern because of the lawsuit. XRP is making headlines with a significant news, somewhat of a price surge, not happening for no reason. The three major developments are converging to drive the momentum that's flowing in XRP. A lot of whale activity. There's a pivotal moment coming up on the 16th, which is next week, in Ripple's legal battle with the SEC. There's a lot of rumors swirling that XRP could be in a partnership with Swift. Now, if you're holding XRP, even considering it, you got to understand what's going on with XRP, right? The current price right now is at 231. A massive transfer of 14 million XRP occurred this week, in the last 7 days. In a minute, it took 1 minute. A dude bought $14 million worth of XRP, what they call OTC, over the counter. A significant interest from some large holder or an institution. Now, Ripple and the SEC has been in this lawsuit for years. Now, there's a critical deadline on the 16th, and we could be coming to a critical resolution that could impact XRP's regulatory status. I'm just tired of this lawsuit. I hope it's over with soon. Market sentiment is starting to flow a lot better. These developments are fueling optimism, especially among investors in XRP that are expecting a rapid adoption, especially with the Swift network, with XRP, right? So altcoin season's coming. XRP is an altcoin. So all of these things are starting to converge and putting XRP at a strategic position to do well. They also get the role of XRP in cross-border payments, and their potential integration in the financial systems of the world is key to its current trajectory. And I believe that XRP is going to start doing good, right? And you got to understand that XRP is at $2.30. If it doubles at $5, that's not, you can't compare dollar for dollar with these other coins. It's not like that. So we got a super chat from Codain. Are you of the opinion that XRP is the best held as a long-term asset? Maybe lend it in the future? Yeah, I believe that. Marion says, thank you for Oslo Twilio and my crypto portfolio. I'm over 100% ROI. I appreciate you, Marlon. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, like I'm saying, it's not difficult to make money. You just got to pay attention, right? And I've been to the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I thought about going today, and I want to say this. Hope I don't offend anybody. I'm sorry. I'm going to start speaking my mind. I don't care anymore. I was on my Instagram, and I was scrolling. They call it the doom scroll. And the Puerto Rican Day Parade was this weekend. And, my family's from Puerto Rico. I got a house there now. And all I saw was people twerking with Puerto Rican flags. Now, having fun is okay. But a lot of times, the poorest people in the world party the most. Now, is that a correlation with the partying? It is a correlation. It's because the people in power, they'll give you the parade. Yeah, go over there and we'll give you the street. We'll give you police people. Get drunk and ruin your whole community. And let us continue to make this money over here. It's like, and people say, well, you're crazy. That's a conspiracy. Well, they did it in the Roman Empire. You can look at the writings. I mean, go to a library and look up the writings of Julius Caesar and all the famous emperors of Rome. The most popular, they all said it, the breads and circuses. We all heard that term. They'll give you that, shut you up, let you spin your wheels for the next 50 years. Partying in a cycle of partying, working, slavery, partying, slavery, partying, slavery. It is slavery, it's debt slavery. If you're in debt to the man, he got you where he wants you. Now you can move freely. It's the perfect situation. Slavery existed in the United States up to 1850s, right? And sometimes a little bit longer, depending on where you were in the United States. But the reason why slavery would have been over regardless is because people got smarter. The people in power got smarter. If I have a slave, I got to pay this dude's medical stuff. Got to carry insurance on the dude. I got to make sure he works. I mean, like, I got to keep my house. He has kids now. You know, all the, like, I'm going to get work out the dude. And it's still a beneficial situation, but man, it's a lot of work. You know, I can't let the dude die because I own him, like a horse or a hog or a pig, a hog or a cow. You can't let it die. That's like a $2,000 cow. And slaves were worth a lot more back then, comparatively. So they came up with the idea, well, why don't we just let everybody be debt slaves? Through the Federal Reserve, we'll start loaning out money, get everybody in debt. Now they can't go nowhere. Now they'll have to work somewhere for us. They'll be part of the undercurrent that drives society forward. Like in the Roman Empire, there was an undercurrent of slavery that drove the road building, the bridge building, all the decisions, the military power was all driven by slaves in the background. The people out front were the generals, the political politicians, the famous people, but the people that were in the back driving all that were the slaves. Same thing with the United States and the world today. Is that the debt slaves in the back driving everything. The people out front are the ones having fun, getting glory, having, you know, health, you know, access to better health care, access to better food, access to a better lifestyle. Kids end up with a better lifestyle because it's passed down from generation to generation. So by partying all the time and twerking, whatever it is, I don't know how to twerk, you contribute to that system of debt slavery. Yeah, party your brains out. We'll let you do that once or twice a year, but get back to work on Monday. That's what they're telling you. Or, it's two things they want you to do. Two things they want from you. Get back to work on Monday. You party the weekend, get back to work on Monday. Or, even better, we'll give you a check. Because, you know, we're already in a modern society. AI is starting to take over. Computers been doing well for 20, 30 years. Yeah, we don't need so many workers no more. So some of y'all work. The other people, we just give you a check every week and shut up and stay out of the way. Don't ever get any ambitions in there. We'll give you this $100 a week or whatever they give you for food stamps, welfare, whatever. And just stay on the sidelines and don't say nothing. And just sit there and let us take care of everything. That's actually even better. That's a type of slavery, mental slavery. Debt slaves, they work. The mental slaves stay out the way. Two things you want from an underclass of people. Stay out of the way or work to build what I want. You know, we don't want you doing nothing else. And that's what happens. That's what happens in a system like this. And that's why you see the partying, the drinking, and it makes me sad because those are my people. It makes me sad that once a year is okay, but it's every weekend. Let's be honest. You Puerto Rican, you know every weekend is like this. I mean, you go to Puerto Rico, that's how every week is parties. You know, and one of the poorest sections of the United States, it's the poorest section of the United States altogether. It's the poorest section. So let's move on. So don't become like that. Don't become a debt slave. Don't get pushed out of the way because they hand you a check. That's what they want you to do. Then your kids, they got you out. Their kids are getting better, richer, smarter, moving ahead. Their family's getting stronger. Their generational wealth is being built. And you're on the sidelines thinking you're getting over because you're getting a $200 check a week or whatever they give. I don't even know what welfare is, though. But so I want to talk about crypto cycles and what's coming next. She said, same reason I don't go back to the island. I mean, I go back to the island, but I'm just saying is that the partying and stuff is a little much. You know, I have fun. I'm not sitting, you know, and say I don't have fun, but sometimes it could be a little much, man. Like, you know, like a little bit much, especially when you got a lot of work to do. Now, in my eyes, partying is for celebration. So you reserve that for when something big happens in your life. That's why I don't even celebrate my birthdays. Because what's a celebration? What's going around the sun one time? That doesn't mean you should have a celebration. Somebody says, happy birthday, welcome to another year. That's all I want, a hearty handshake. I don't want no party. I don't want balloons, none of that. Because I don't believe it's nothing to celebrate. Because everybody has birthdays for 1 and 2. It's just an arbitrary circle around the sun. Doesn't mean anything. We celebrate when I get to a milestone. We'll have a big celebration. So, and like I said, birthday party, I may do one for my 50th birthday because that's a milestone, really, because you got to live that long. But every birthday weeks, birthday months, that's silly. So I want to talk a little bit about decoding the retail investor narrative. Now, It's nothing wrong with, I want to go back, it's nothing wrong with partying, but you have to limit it and you have to keep your eyes on the prize. That's all I want to say. So crypto cycles, what's coming next is every crypto cycle is driven by a competitive narrative that captures the imagination of retail investors. From the rise of meme coins over the last year or 2 years to back the last cycle was NFTs. The cycle before that was ICO. The cycle before that was DAOs. There's always been some type of exotic instrument that is supposed to change the paradigm that gets the retail investors involved. I don't know what it's going to be this time, but it always is something, because retail investors, put your mind into the mind of a retail investor, the people in the barbershops, the people who are walking around at your job, the people who don't, and I'm not talking about just barbershop, because you remember I was a software engineer at AAA for years. I had the lead software engineer for the travel project. And those software engineers that had 20 years experience and master degrees didn't know nothing about crypto. So it's not about education. It's not about economic stats. It's about people just most people don't pay attention. They're at their job and that's it. They don't know what's going on. But something has to capture their attention. And the status quo never captures it. Bitcoin right now is the status quo. I literally spend all week with you. I appreciate you, Pretty Virgo. I see you all the time and I appreciate you. I see you all the time, and I really, really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. So retail investors sitting on the sidelines, they're just watching. Well, Bitcoin has already been around. It's too late for Bitcoin. Well, it's too late for Ethereum, too late for all these other coins. I need something that's going to pull me from the sidelines into the end lines. Now what? And then somebody comes along and say, well, meme coins. Oh, wow, I've seen this meme coin go up 1,000 times. I've seen this other meme coin go up 50 times. I'm going to try my hand at meme coins. And that will be the instrument that, like NFTs. Now, when people came into the market, they looked at Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're all XRP, they've all been around for years. What can make me 1,000 times? People want to get rich quick. So NFTs came out. Then it was a mania. But that mania drives money into the whole market at once as people have to buy. Like, for example, back then, you had to buy Ethereum to get into the NFTs. You had to buy Solana to get into the meme coins. You have to buy Ethereum again to get into these other things. So it causes the inflows of cryptocurrency in general to be able to buy these exotic instruments that's supposed to change everything. They never do. They never change everything, but they're supposed to. So people will get in there, they'll make a bunch of money, think that they're geniuses. One time it was a guy back in 2000. I don't even know what happened to him. I didn't like him because he was going back to Puerto Rico ripping people off. There's more ways to ripping people off than you think. And I'm going to tell you why. As a person that just learned something, you can't go around teaching people that. And that's a ripoff, actually. I've been doing this, what I'm doing here for over 10 years. I've been a college instructor for 4 years. I did it for 4 years, 2 years, and then 2 years again. This is what I've been trained to do, is to take concepts and convert them into where you can understand them. But somebody that just learned something to go around teaching people, that's actually a scam. In order to teach something at this level, you have to understand it at this level. So you teach down. You don't teach sideways. You can't teach sideways. You got to teach down. You cannot teach sideways because you don't understand the topic enough to be able to convey it to somebody. You teach down. You always teach down. That's why somebody that's teaching English 101 at a university has a PhD. Now, he's way more qualified to be teaching 101 biology or whatever, English or whatever. But he's teaching it because you have to teach down. You can't teach. That's why they don't have people with bachelor. People that just take the English class this semester don't turn around and teach it the next semester. That don't even make sense at college. Think about it. Would that make sense in a college environment? No. So it doesn't make sense in a real environment. You don't go around teaching stuff unless you have a strong mastery on it. It takes 10,000 hours to get that mastery. 10,000 hours is roughly 7-8 years if you did it every day. You can't turn around teaching it after you learn it. So it was a guy, and he was going to Puerto Rico, and I heard a few people I know down there were saying he was taking $50,000 for people to invest in NFTs, and he was teaching stuff. So I confronted him, and I said, I never confronted anybody before, but that kind of got me, because it was some people that I knew of that were like on Social Security and stuff he was going after. That was his forte. So I said, man, you need to stop doing it. It's dirty, man. I'm going to call you out. I said, you don't know what you're talking. I seen some stuff you post. First of all, you shouldn't be teaching what you're talking about. I said, you was teaching last year about how to drop ship something or whatever business. Now you're teaching NFTs. You don't understand, man. How are you going to tell me? He didn't even understand what teaching was. He said, how are you going to tell me I can't teach NFTs? I made $500,000 last year on NFTs. And what does that mean? Just because you make money doing something don't mean you can teach it. It sounds logical, but it's not logical. I'm going to tell you right now, in 2020, I had some extra money, so I went and bought 3 houses. 3 houses. Over the next 2 years, those houses doubled in value. Now, am I a real estate? Can I go around teaching real estate? How to buy houses? No, I can't because I got lucky. I didn't know the house. I didn't know. I just had some extra money, was sitting around in COVID, wasn't going out, and went to buy some stuff, bought some, and it just doubled. And I could show receipts. Look, I bought this at 150. Now it's at 350. I bought this other, at 260. Now it's worth 500,000. Got this other house I bought at 750. Now it's at 1.4 million. I got receipts. That does not mean I don't know enough. I don't know enough to teach you that. All I know is that I did it, how to do that specific trade, and that's it. That's not expertise. That's a good transaction or a good enterprise. Doesn't mean you're a teacher yet. Now, after 10 years of doing it consistently, I can start teaching it to you. So, but that people don't realize that I made 500,000 NFTs. I'm a good teacher. No, you're not. You're just somebody that made 500,000 NFTs. Doesn't mean you can teach it or steal money. So, I told somebody earlier, don't mention my name with scammers and thieves. I don't like that. I try to keep my name clean. So, like I said, this cycle, I thought 2 years ago, I thought it would be, I said it in 2023, I was on the Florida, New York Stock Exchange. They asked me a question. They said, what do you think will be the theme of 2025? And I said, AI tokens. I think AI is going to be the big driver. Now, if you go to my Instagram page at the top, there's I tagged it at the top. It said it's December of 23, and I'll talk about that in that clip. I think AI was going to drive the market. So then meme coins came out of nowhere, and I really believed they were going to make meme coins illegal. And then Trump dropped his own meme coin. The next month they said they're not illegal. So it's going to be a competition between meme coins and AI. I don't know which one's going to lead. Hopefully AI does. Then ASI, it's called Fetch right now, but ASI will start doing well. You got Ocean Pro, you got a lot of them out there that are doing well. I think that's the best utility for blockchain is AI tokens. Now, you got to think about AI models. Now, I do believe that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs with AI. Before we continue, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We only got 49 likes. That's crazy. I got 700 people in here. I need y'all to at least drop a like. I would really appreciate that. So, back to AI tokens. So the thing about AI is I go against everybody else because I'm going to tell you the truth. AI is going to take your job. Eventually, everybody's. I see some content creator stuff they put on. I'm like, man, what do they need me for? I still think there's a way with lives for one. They can't render the stuff live, so that's a good way to stay ahead. And also live events, but they really don't need me no more for Instagram and YouTube videos and shorts no more. Not really. But it's almost like the music industry is the way, I moved to live shows, live stuff. I mean, 'cause they can mimic everything else. So somebody says, thank you for being a humble legend. I learned a lot from you. I appreciate you, Johnny. Thank you for sharing what you know. Thank you, Edgar. Was that your LA show, Mel? Appreciate what your thoughts are, ABM Whitney. Okay, so back to AI. So they are going to take a lot of our jobs, but there'll be new jobs that get created. That's what people don't understand about technology is that technology does not, society doesn't just sit around. Is the audio still on? Because I just dropped my thing. It's still on? Okay. So people are not going to sit around idle-handed. That doesn't work. We know in history that does not work. The Bible even says idle hands, devil's workshop. We know that. So people in general will just create work. Like it was a guy one time at AAA. I wonder if anybody's listening from AAA. Because I'll tell you how people just create work. AAA is not just a car roadside service. It's a travel agency, a nationwide travel agency. It's also a bank. It's a literal bank. It has ATMs in some places. You could walk in and get your money at ATM. So we had to go by bank level, like we were judged as a bank, so we had to go by bank level standards. So we were copying our code from production. So when you got a website, right? The website is called production. Then you have a test website. You may have another test website. And every time you go through it from one test to the other, QA has to say, well, this looks good. Then you move it to the other test site. QA says, well, I think it looks good. Then you move it into the site that real users could see called production. Now, developers will move the code from their desktop to the first one. And then the QA moves to the second one. It goes on like that. But before that, at the beginning when I first got to AAA, we was moving our code, the developers were moving that code all the way to production. Now, that's dangerous. One, because it's no checks and balances. Two is that a developer could get mad, do something crazy, whatever. It's no separation there of concerns there. So during an audit, somebody says, hey, man, y'all have to hire somebody to just move the code over every Monday. So the developers do all that work. They turn it into this one dude, and all he does is he has a drive, and he copies the code from one place to the second place. That's all he has to do. And it has to be a 40-hour-a-week job. And they were like, it's like 2 hours worth of work. Well, it don't matter. You have to, by banking regulations or whatever the regulations were, I don't know exactly what they were, this dude has to be there, and all he's going to do is 1 hour work. 40-hour job, you have to give him full salary like a regular employee. So dude shows up the first day. Man, everybody at work was like, God, this dude got the perfect job. All he has to do is move this code over every day. That's it. Man, I wish I was him. He'd come in on Mondays, do the code, and go home for the rest of the week and work from home, but there was no work to be done. So after like 6 months of that, we get an email. His name was Danny. I'm going to say his name. I don't care no more. I ain't been there. So Danny said, he'll get an email from his manager. From now on, you got to fill out this form in order for Danny to copy the code over. All right, that seems reasonable. I mean, like you don't want, you want to backtrack the records of, code or whatever. So we'd all fill out this form. So the form is only like 4 things: where you want to move from, where is the code at, what repository is it in, and it's like 4 or 5. And what's your name, developer ID, or whatever. And that was it. Next week, the form is Danny has made updates to the form. Form is twice as big. So I'm like, well, that seems reasonable. You want to make sure you have all the data in case something goes wrong. A couple of weeks go by. Now Danny needs a meeting to go over the forms every week. All right, well, that seems reasonable. This went on and on and on until finally there was 6 forms, there was 2 meetings, and you had to stand up in front of Danny and tell him the reason for your code, why you wanted it to go. Pretty soon a dude for himself created a 40-hour-a-week job. So instead of working 2 hours, dude now had 40 hours of nonsense. But that's what a person does. And humanity will do that. If you leave the whole of humanity with nothing to do, they would just create stuff to do. And all of a sudden, there'll be all new 40-hour-a-week jobs like Danny. All of a sudden, everybody, now we got this new thing. Now you got to go to dancing class. Well, we need dancing teachers. Well, we need people that make dancing shoes. What AI could do. Well, they want custom shoes made by hand. Well, now the dancing person also needs a chiropractor. Well, AI could do not this. Dancing has to have a specific chiropractor who watches them dance, then does it right after. It'll be something that we create, I don't know what, that all of a sudden we'll have all these new jobs. But AI will take over all the other jobs that we had in the past. It'll be something that AI cannot. Somebody argued me one time, they said, I said, AI can't produce art. Somebody said to me, yes, AI can. I said, no, because you're misunderstanding the word art. I didn't say reproduce graphics. I said art. Art can only flow from a human. Otherwise, it's not art. See what I'm saying? So artists will always have a place. If it does not flow from a human, it's not art. It's just graphics or a sculpture. It's not art unless a human with their emotions uses their hands to make it flow through. They can do it with graphics, computer-aided graphics, or they can do it with a traditional pen and paper, traditional brush. If it's not art if it doesn't come from a human. So therefore, art is protected forever. Because we've been able to replace art for years. We've been able to photograph art. People put lithographs, whatever, in their houses for 200 years. But people still want art. Nobody wants a Louis Vuitton purse unless it was made by hand. Now, why? Because when it's made by hand, it implies higher value. So people don't want, it's like, well, this purse right here wasn't made by hand. Well, I don't want it. I want the Louis Vuitton purse that was made by hand, that was made by artisans, that was made in the people that actually stitched every stitch. And if they didn't, I want my money back. See, those things will always last. But when AI does take over all our other jobs, there's going to be these big models that run entire companies. I'll give you a good example. It's like a call center model. We already got AI that can do voice back and forth. It'll get better over time. It's a little bit clunky now, but it will get better. And when it gets better, it's going to be able to automate an entire call center. Now, a call center has a CEO. Let's say a small call center has a CEO, has management under it. It has the supervisor, and it has all the call center people. That's a hierarchy, right? AI can handle all the call centers, the call agents. It could also handle the supervisor. It could also handle the hierarchy all the way up to the top and run the entire company. Also, it can do marketing. It can handle the customer disputes or customer inquiries. It can close deals, all within one big supercomputer. Now, that's an AI model. Now, how is that? The problem with an AI model is how is it going to, remember, it's not like a regular computer. Not a regular business. Humans think slow, so we need to send a transaction we need to send payroll. Somebody does it, processes it, it goes out the next day. That's too much time for AI. 24 hours, the computer thinks faster than that. It needs access to some type of resource that goes at the speed of light, blockchain. So if you plug blockchain into that model, now now the AI model can send and receive money quickly at the same speed of how it's thinking. So that's the next big innovation for blockchain and AI. I believe the AI tokens, you'll be able to get an AI model like that call center, say, hey, I think that's going to do well in the future. I want to buy some tokens in that model. So as that model makes money, you receive some of the profit through those tokens, much like stocks now. You can't do that with AI models. A stock can't fully represent an AI model. It has to be tokens because it's too fast. It moves too fast, and the traditional model of stocks is not going to fit that in the future. So I think AI models are going to make a lot of people a lot of money in the future. Somebody says art will be created by AI robotics and it will be considered art. It will never be considered art because AI did it. Because you got to remember, the mindset of an artist, right? Just think about the snooty people that go into the museums. They look at a piece of art. Now, I'm not into art this deep, but I do support the arts. That's why I go to plays. Hans Zimmer is going to be here in September in Tampa. That's the only concert I've been to in years, the orchestra. I'm going to that in September. But I don't like people. You ever see the snooty people, especially on TV, in the museums? They're, I feel the artist's pain in this. I actually think the artist was struggling with some type of depression, or maybe some type of misunderstanding of the world. No, I actually think that it actually is a sign of greatness that the artist was trying to break free and show his true side to a world that wasn't ready. Now, what are they trying to decide? They're trying to figure out the emotion of the human that did that art. You can't do that with what are you going to say, the robot? What are you going to say with the robot? Now, maybe 50 years, 100 years from now, that may change, but in our lifetimes, it won't change. People will fight. People will always want to see it from an artist. At least in our lifetime, next 30, 40 years. Maybe your kids will see a different world in which, because I'm actually writing about that in my book. I do believe that one day AI will become equal to humans. I do think that, but it'll be past our lifetime. Maybe in my kids' end of their life. I write about that in my book. It's called The Future of Wealth in America. We talk about how technology and finance will one day merge into one, and things like that will start to happen over the next 50, 60, 70 years. But in our lifetime, I believe that art is going to be protected. Even music. You can create music, but unless the artist produced it, nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear. You can right now, AI generated Drake song. It will never go viral. Once people realize that it's the AI generated, they won't even play it. You see, now if you don't tell them, maybe they will. But once you let them know that it was AI generated, they throw it out. They don't want to hear that. I want to hear it come from a human. Otherwise, we don't share those unique experiences between each other. It's no culture. That's the whole point of art, is culture. Without the culture in between the people, there is no art. It's just a bunch of graphics. It's a big difference in that. That's why I believe that's not going to really affect people. Now, graphic designs, all that stuff's gone. But I wrote the new, the CNC website I wrote over the weekend. I did it myself. I haven't done a web design in years. But I said, I'm going to try to do this myself, because everybody I get to do it don't do a good job. So I'm just going to build it myself, at least the front page. And then the other page, I let somebody else do it, the overall design. I did it in like 4 hours. It's a beautiful page. I did it with ChatGPT. Now, I still had to know some HTML, CSS to make it exactly like I wanted. But that's still, it was pretty cool to be able to do that. And it's some of the stuff that would have took me a long time to figure out. ChatGPT just looked at my code and figured it out. That's some crazy stuff. Yeah, you said Timberland created an AI music artist. Yeah, he did, but nothing's gonna go. That's a publicity stunt. You'll never hear about that artist doing anything. There's no such thing as an AI music artist. I guess it could if you created a model and gave it a personality and stuff, but still, I think we're way off from actually having a self-contained model with a true personality or mimicking personality. We're kind of far from that, but it's a good publicity stunt by him. So, what time is it? So, last thing I want to talk about is nuclear stocks. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so, please like the video. If you're ready to consistently win, DM me the word CNC to join my private community. Right now, it's $97 a month. It's going to be $127 once we get started. Actually, it's going to be $3,000 a year for everything. But if you get locked in right now, you keep that price forever. There's people in there that pay $25 a month when we first started. They still pay that. I will never change it. We got stock and crypto signals, direct answers from me and my team, full access to me every Sunday for an hour. Any question you guys want to ask, and you can ask my team all week. The ones that are already inside are making a lot of money, changing their lives every week. If you're in the CNC, been making money, drop those money bags. Also going to be in 3 cities this month, more than just a meet and greet. It's a true strategy session. Pittsburgh the 21st, Philadelphia the 22nd, Atlanta on the 23rd. These events will be sold out, so make sure you get a ticket. I'm going to put it here in the chat. It's also in the caption. So last thing I want to talk about is nuclear energy. We've been talking about that for a while, but Oklo, I believe, is doing okay. Where's the keyboard? Oh, see, Oklo's way up. I didn't even know that. I've been talking to y'all and getting ready for this. Oklo right now is 27% up. So a lot of people made a lot of money. We called out Oklo when it was at $6, and the CNC made even more money on the options. Man, I got to check my portfolio. I didn't even check it. God dang, what? Oh, yeah, they opened a new reactor. That's what happened. I forgot. Nobody said nothing in the comments. Y'all should have told me it was up 30%. Nobody told me. That's crazy. So we actually, some people in the CNC took out options last week on that. They're probably way up. So nobody said nothing. Been holding out on me. But we started that at $6. It says 666. That's kind of scary. But it started at $6. We're up 11 times right now. 11 times our money in less than a year. And that's not just one. That's over and over and over. We've been doing this for years because we're a little bit different than everybody else. Everybody else looks at charts. We don't do that. We also use charts. We don't, what do you call it? Like depend on them. We use them. We don't depend on them. We focus on the future. We figure out what the themes of the future is going to be. Thematic programming. Thematic investing. And then we work backwards from there. Then we look at the charts, look at all this other stuff. Now, you can't mimic what I can do or what we can do in the group, but that's why nobody has done it. I got almost 1 million followers. Not one person has tried to mimic me because they can't. Because you need 10, 15 years of experience to do it. You can't just jump on Instagram and do it. It don't work like that. That's why they have no competitors. That's why nobody's out there doing what I do. Because they can't. Now, the other stuff, yes, people, it's thousands of people reading charts because that's easy. You learn that in a weekend if you're good. But nobody can mimic exactly what I do because you need 15, 20 years experience. So, as artificial intelligence continues its rapid expansion, the demand for energy is never going to stop. As AI, as electric vehicles, as humanoid robotics, as we start, I remember we talked about the stages of human civilizations. As we move forward, we need more and more energy to move towards the stage 2. We're in almost 70% of stage 1 right now. As we move into stage 2, we need more and more energy. Our entire lives, it will always be a demand on the energy grid. That we're at the forefront of an energy revolution, offering a stable solution of power to data centers and everything of tomorrow. Two companies, NewScale is going to do well. What's NewScale doing? Oklo is going to do well. Another one we talked about, I'm not going to say it again, at the LA event, the one we talked about, LA event is doing well. Right? Let's look at NewScale. I haven't looked at this at all today. I haven't looked at the market at all. NewScale is up 20%. We talked about that over the last 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 weeks. So, Oklo, like I said, they're developing these small nuclear reactors tailored for data centers and other things like that. They use nuclear energy. They produce nuclear energy that can last 10, 20 years, backed by prominent investors, Sam Altman and a lot of other people. Their pre-revenue, power as a service model offers a new way for data centers to access nuclear energy without any upfront cost. That's very, very attractive to a data center. Remember, you can be way off from the data grid. You're no longer restricted to being around cheap sources of power. That's one of the biggest problems right now of data centers, is that in my hometown of Clarksville, Tennessee, I felt sad for my hometown. Google called the mayor and said, we want to put a data center in Clarksville, Tennessee. Now, Clarksville, Tennessee only has the military and the college I went to, Allsby State University. Now, it's not much else going on there. A bunch of factories, people working in factories. The mayor, not understanding how technology works, had a press conference and said Google chose Clarksville, Tennessee to open a new data center. It's going to bring in jobs and it's going to usher in a bright new world of technological innovation, engineers and all this stuff. And the students from the college can go right over there and start engineering for Google, whatever. I knew how data centers worked. It's like 2 or 3 dudes in there. And those people they hired from wherever they already hired, when they get there, already got them hired. And they run that data center. The data center is mostly automated. Now, they chose Clarksville, Tennessee because it was in the TWA, which is a cheap source of electricity, and the land was cheap. That's it. They looked at the whole map. They ran an algorithm, and they said, this is where we put it. They put a flag in the map. Bam. Now, they're not going to, it's no new jobs. There's no new anything. There's not even anything to support or supply because they're going to fly all this stuff in. There is nothing that maybe some slight like electrical, maybe somebody comes in and like cleans it or something. There's no real jobs there. But Google had to choose Clarksville because of that. Now, without having to look at the cheap source of electricity, there's a lot of places in the United States they could put data centers. With Oklo, they can attach it anywhere. They don't have to search for a place that has cheap electricity, cheap land. They just find some place with cheap land in the middle of the desert and attach one of these Oklo small nuclear reactors to the site, and now they got free electricity. Basically free electricity for the next 20 years. So that's what's coming in the future. Oklo's at $40 now. I'm sorry, NewScale is at 40. I'm sorry, I changed the thing. So Oklo's at 67. Oh, we made a lot of money in Oklo. So if you got to join the CNC, that's what you're missing out. So the events are coming. So if you're ready to start winning consistently, make sure you subscribe to the channel, DM me the word CNC on Instagram, or you can click the link in this in this description. We'll also be in Philadelphia, 22nd, Pittsburgh, 21st, Atlanta on the 23rd. The link is in the bio to get a ticket for those 3 cities. It's not just a meetup. It's a lot deeper than that. Strategy session, and we're going to make sure you have the tools to execute. These events normally sell out. Like I said, if you've been learning from afar, this is your chance to be in the room where clear direction and high-level thinking is shared. Reserve your spot. This is your next step. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great week. See you guys on Sunday on Instagram, and I hope you have a great weekend.